Hi, I'm Jeannie Posner, and this is the Posner Property Perspective. As a realtor in Metro Atlanta, I've spent years helping people just like you buy, sell, and create homes that truly fit their lives. In this podcast, we'll dive into everything from home flipping tips, healthy home living, to exploring the unique lifestyles and charms of North Metro Atlanta. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, a seasoned seller, or just curious about real estate, I'm here to educate, inspire, and to guide you through it all. Because buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. It can actually be fun. So let's take a fresh perspective on real estate together. And I'll see you at the closing table.
Okay, so today we're flipping the script and putting the spotlight on the voice behind the Posner Property Perspective, Jeannie Sekulow Posner. Jeannie, listeners hear your insights every week, but today we get to slow things down and talk about your journey, how your background, your community involvement, and your experience shaped the way you approach real estate today. Let's start with the brand you've built. So you didn't just join real estate, you built your own brand. I'd love to know what inspired you to start Posner Properties and how does it reflect the way you want to serve your clients in the Atlanta market?
So I look back and Posner Properties basically started at the kitchen table. My father had a family motto: if you work together, you eat together. And my family got involved in real estate in the 70s here in Atlanta. And my mother was a real estate agent. And then my father and my brothers did restoration of historic properties, not only in Georgia, but in other states. So real estate has been in our blood. We always talked about it. So when I did my switch of career and I love serving people, well, what better way than helping them find a home? And if you're happy in your house, you're going to be happy in life. They say happy wife, happy life, have a happy home, and everyone else is going to be happy. So Posner Properties started about 9 years ago, but we officially started branding it in the last 2 years. And I realized that branding my business and branding how I feel and what goes on became an important aspect of how I could grow my business. And even with now bringing in other agents and other vendors, I have a certain standard in the way I like to do things and the way we interact with people, and I want people around me who can do that.
I love that. And
that's how that all came about.
I love that, Jeannie. And it really feels like an extension of who you are, and not just a business name as well. And one thing that really stands out about your journey is everything you did before real estate, from being a therapist to running one of the largest bridal stores in the Southeast. Those are big emotional decisions where, you were helping people navigate. How do those experiences show up in the way you guide buyers and sellers today?
Well, I like to say I went from saying yes to the dress to yes to the address. So it's true. So there's a lot of emotions when you're planning a wedding or you're doing a house. These are big purchases in your life, and they affect the way everyone interacts. And there's a lot of emotions involved. So my skills as a therapist definitely have helped me interact with people. And you have to have an ear to really hear what people are saying and taking the time to listen. One of the most valuable skills I have is just listening. Trying to find out, what do people need in their home? What do they want? So those skills as a therapist, owning a bridal store, I used to joke around. I used to know sometimes family secrets before the other members. For example, we're doing a bridesmaid's order. I would know that one of the bridesmaids is pregnant before anyone else because she's trying to order a dress for a wedding 6 months from now, and she knows she's going to be 5 months pregnant or she's going to be 8 months pregnant. Nobody else knows. And I'm like having to deal with why am I ordering her a size 16 when she's normally a 12? Learning how to deal with those situations, how to help people. And even now, when a lot of my clients are friends or family, I may know before they're moving before they tell everyone else. So my clients know until they've given me permission, I'm not telling anyone. So a lot of that is that relationship building and that trust. And like I say, listening tools. I love it when my client says to me, you knew what I wanted before I knew, because I was listening and I'm trying to figure out what's important to them. So those skills have definitely translated well and have helped me. And because I had so many brides that I helped, I have a huge mailing list of my clients, and I've helped them buy their first home. Now I'm helping them get a larger home because now they're having the second child. So it all works together.
I love that. And I mean, it makes so much sense why clients feel so understood working with you as well. You're also incredibly active in your local community, and that doesn't feel accidental either. How has community involvement shaped your career and helped grow your business?
And it's really expanded. I have some exciting news. So I have been on the Dunwoody Homeowners Association, which is our whole city has one big homeowners association besides the individual neighborhoods. And we work very closely with our city. We existed before the city of Dunwoody existed. And I've been on the board going on 2 years, and I've just been asked to be on the executive board. So I'm very excited, and that commitment to community, because if you have a strong community, not only are we keeping up the property values, but people are going to want to move into our community. And we have even though we're a big city right outside Metro Atlanta, we have a small town feel. We throw the largest July 4th parade in Georgia, and it's fun. We get the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. We've had the Budweiser horses before. We've had the Idaho potato, but we get the local politicians. We get a little bit of everything in the bands, but it's that sense of community. So by building the community, not only am I helping my own business, but I'm also making sure that the families that move here have a good environment and will continue to grow. And we're making changes, which is really nice. You know, people don't realize, for example, a lot of office buildings that are built like in the 70s, they're obsolete now. They just can't handle the new demands of businesses. And how is the city going to handle that? What are we going to do with those buildings that are no longer viable? And we're looking at, can we retrofit them? What do we need to do to keep our city active and growing? And the nice thing is we're right outside Metro Atlanta, so we have the benefits of being nearby, but we're still in our urban setting.
I love that. You know, and I mean, I believe that community engagement is really so important. And it also just continues to show how relationships, not just transactions, you know, also help drive long-term growth and success as well. And you know, you've also built a strong network around you, from lenders to contractors to trusted advisors. How important is that team approach when it comes to delivering a full service experience for your clients?
So that's been very important, especially one of the niches that I deal with a lot are people who are in the process of downsizing. And they've lived in the home 20, 30 years, and they have all these items they've gathered. So we help them. I have a whole team. We can go in, we help you get organized. What are you going to keep? What are you going to donate? What's going to go in the estate sale? And I work with more than one or two estate sales people because I have to make sure the right dynamics, everyone's personality fits. Going through that downsizing process can be very emotional because you may be going from a 3,500 or 5,000 square foot house down to 1,800. And you're having to figure out, how am I going to give up some of these things? And there's also different generations. I've worked with several clients who have inherited properties, and maybe their families went through the Depression era and they keep everything. We just went through a house. We found but jarred like preserves from like 1980. There were all kinds of things, but it's a understanding and helping make that process smooth and go carefully, and acknowledging people's emotions that are happening, and having that team who can help them. Now we're going to organize it. Then I have to bring in a crew. What do we have to paint? What do we have to update? What kind of movers are we going to need? How are we going to get you to that next home? So all these people, is there going to be a financial advisor involved, especially if you're going into assisted living or independent living that's eventually going to lead to more long-term care, making sure they have the right financial advisors in place so that can all happen. Making sure we have proper attorneys, making sure everything is done. But I want it done smoothly, and we all want to work together. So that's the whole key, is I have people around me that make my team so strong, because one, they're going to pick up my phone call. They're going to respond, but they know the kind of service that I want to give my clients. So it's become an important aspect, and I'm very lucky that I have such great people around me.
That's amazing. And I mean, I know personally with working with you, you've always been very client focused and client first, which is really amazing. And it's a true testament to you and the service you deliver. And it's really clear that no one is navigating the process alone when they're working with you. So you recently launched the Posner Property Perspective podcast, and it feels like a natural extension of everything that you already do. What are you most excited about sharing with listeners through your podcast?
Funny you say natural, because you know how hard it is for me to get in front of a camera. But I think it's a great way of reaching a lot of people, and they can get a sense, I think, through the videos of who you are. So when people now call me, they already know me. They know my style. They already get a sense. Are we going to vibe together? Because we're going to spend a lot of time together over the next finding you a home. It could be a month. It could be 3 months. So it's so important to be able to get to people and help them understand the process. What I realize is a lot of people throw out, oh, you have to do a home inspection. They have no idea what is a home inspection. It's more, who are the different people involved in the home inspection, like the radon? Are we doing a sewer scope? So having people who can explain that. Knowing what the attorneys in Georgia in real estate are very different than attorneys in California or New York. So having these expertise, being able to explain their process and what they do, what their role is in real estate in Georgia, I think helps people get educated and understand the process so it's not as intimidating. So it's been a really exciting adventure for me. Very new.
Amazing. And I mean, it's such a great way to educate and empower people before they even make a move as well. So real estate is constantly evolving, especially in the market like Metro Atlanta. How do you stay ahead of trends, and what advice would you give to homeowners who want to keep their properties competitive?
So education is such an important part of real estate. Constantly going to different meetings, meeting with other agents, seeing what's going on in the market. I'm a little nerdy when it comes to stats, so I'm always looking what areas are selling, what's not. And one of the things that was a big change during the pandemic, you put a house on the market, it didn't almost matter the condition, and people were bidding. And in today's market, because it switched and it went away from being a seller's market to a buyer's market, all of a sudden, your house has to be in pristine condition. They want move-in ready. The client feels that they're paying premium for the house, and they think interest rates are high. Even though statistically, over 30 years, an average interest rate was 6%. So it's not, but we got spoiled with those 3s and 4s. So your house has to be presented in the best light possible. And it's got to be immediate. When we have all these pictures online, clients are swiping. We have 8 seconds to catch their eye. So I have to make sure when my clients are putting their house on the market, it's going to work. And that's why I use professional photographers who do real estate. My son's a photojournalist. He'll tell you he doesn't know how to photograph real estate. So working, again, it's having that whole team, so that when someone says, okay, I'm thinking about selling, what do I need to do to optimize the equity that I have in my home? We're going to come up with an entire strategy. And the strategy is different. I have some clients who, yeah, you know what? I have $50,000 to put into my home. I have other clients who, you know what? We don't have those extra funds. Do I have to find them a vendor who will get paid at close? Do I have to say, you know what, maybe we're going to talk to an investor and they're going to buy it in the as-is condition? So having all those different networks and staying on top of the market. I'm flying out to Austin to meet with the top agents in the nation in about a week and a half. But it's all because the people you surround yourself with and the education you get, you can better serve your client.
I love that. And I truly believe that, I know you mentioned you're a nerd for stats, but the balance of stats and real life experience is also so valuable to your clients as well. You also have a strong background working with investors in off-market transactions. How does that experience shape the way you help investors navigate the Atlanta market?
So it's interesting. And the market has changed where 3 or 4 years ago, we had a lot of hedge funds coming in and buying Atlanta. I'm glad it's stopping. I believe in a free market society, but I will tell you, Atlanta saw some of these hedge funds and corporations come in. They own about 50,000 single family homes in Georgia. And what happened was it was taking some of the first time home buyer homes out of the market. The investing market has kind of changed in Atlanta, but we do have a lot of smaller, people who will flip anywhere from 10 to 50 houses a year, and helping them find properties. You look for properties where there's a need, where we can solve a problem. We had a client who they were under contract on a house to buy a new home. And before they had met us, they had sold their house to what they thought was an investor who was going to flip it. All of a sudden, 10 days before closing, they get ghosted and they're not able to buy the home. A new investor has to be found who can buy that home so that they can still close on their new purchase. So having a group of investors knowing what their strengths are and filling a need so that the investor can buy a home. A lot of them right now are looking at foreclosures, even though there's very few foreclosures in Atlanta, trying to find properties. Typically, the investors now are putting in $50,000 to $80,000 into the property, and this is on a house that may sell for $350,000 to $400,000. So they're putting in significant amount of money. This is not a house that an end buyer could buy. So by working with the investors, helping them find the right properties, I can also help first-time home buyers. And that's what's exciting, is getting some of these clients now into a home who 3 years ago, they were getting outbid left and right.
I love that. So it really gives clients access to opportunities that they might not have otherwise seen as well. So, Jeannie, hearing your journey really shows us why your perspective resonates so deeply with listeners. This podcast isn't just about real estate, it's about confidence, clarity, and making smart decisions at every stage of life. And for everyone listening, this is just the beginning. There are so many more conversations ahead that'll help you see real estate and your home in a whole new way. So stay tuned and keep watching for the next one.
Thanks for tuning into the Posner Property Perspective. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and found it helpful as you navigate your real estate journey. Remember, whether you're buying, selling, or just exploring the market, I'm here to help to make the process smooth, exciting, and stress-free. Let's take the next step together. Contact me today. I'd love to hear from you and make your real estate wishes come true. Until next time, take care, stay inspired, and I'll see you at the closing table.